Dealing with distressing thoughts. Many of us can put a front on and pretend that we're okay, but a proportion of soldiers will have a mental health condition at some point during their service. Sometimes mental health conditions include having intrusive and or distressing thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are unwanted thoughts, impulses or mental images pop into our heads when we don't want them to be there and are difficult to get rid of. Distressing thoughts are those that cause anxiety and stress, and people can experience thoughts about doing harm to others or themselves, which may be violent or disturbing, and these can impair an individual's ability to function properly. Potential triggers. Triggers for distressing thoughts could be, and this list isn't exhaustive, divorce or breakup or a difficult relationship, a bereavement, including anniversaries of the loved one that you've lost, loss of custody or access to a child, mental ill health, financial issues, feelings of isolation or not belonging, discipline or legal issues, and bullying as well. Behaviours to identify stress. These are some of the ways you can identify someone who is struggling or might be struggling to cope with their thoughts. Behavioural changes. When an individual is finding it hard to cope with day-to-day life, if an individual has low mood, negative statements such as everything against me. Low self-esteem. Regarding low self-esteem, people can project low self-esteem. For example, you could have somebody that seems to be the typical soldier, the head is held high, shoulders back, but you have noticed a change in their demeanour, their body language is different, head down and shoulders are all forward. Self-neglect. Someone who usually has a healthy diet, low alcohol consumption and maintains their fitness, then suddenly changes to making sure they're getting constant takeaways, fizzy drinks, no exercise, reduced training, and these negative coping mechanisms may have dramatically increased to the point that this behaviour has now become the norm. Any negative comments that are made on social media, missing activities or meals, and just generally having less energy. The key to look for here is significant changes of behaviour because we're all individuals. There may be many reasons for these changes, but it is absolutely critical that you get to know individuals within your respective workplaces so that you can spot these changes. If you are a leader and you do not know your team, then ensure that you make the effort to take steps to change this. But don't forget that the chain of command are not supermen or superwomen, and they too can and quite often do suffer from poor mental health themselves. So if you notice a change in anyone, irrespective of where they are in the chain of command, do something about it and report it. Causes of unwanted intrusive thoughts and how to manage them. Some mental health conditions are associated with negative thoughts, but we can all have negative thoughts about ourselves without actually being ill. A good example of this is our body image. Many of us will have negative thoughts about feelings of our body. I feel fat, I want to lose weight, but this can get stuck with just a negative feeling without the thoughts about how to change this and to actually make things better. If we struggle to lose the weight, we then feel a failure and have this constantly nagging thought that we are fat. Intrusive thoughts can also include thoughts about dying. Sometimes this is just about not wanting to wake up in the morning, and at other times constant thoughts about how to kill themselves. But do you think that those that attempt or complete taking their own life actually want to die? Usually they do not. They are just unhappy with their current situation and want the unbearable pain to go away. So this is what we do when we identify someone who is having distressing thoughts and feels unable to cope. And we have the acronym AID. A is for ask. Do not be afraid to ask somebody if they are thinking about suicide. It's very important to understand that asking someone if they are thinking about taking their own life will not plant the seed in their mind. I for intervene. Taking no action is not an option if a person's life is at stake. You might feel completely out of your comfort zone if someone discloses that they have been having life-threatening thoughts. Reassure yourself that the reason why they have told you is because they trust you and feel that they can tell you the truth without any judgment, and they have invited you in, and it's your responsibility to help them. D is for disclose, and everyone can help. Disclose to people who can make a difference. You must share it. You have a responsibility to go and get them help. Respecting someone's privacy is pointless if they are dead. Remember that we all have a key role to play. Take time to talk to each other. Strike up a conversation. Seeking help in times of distress displays courage and an absolute sign of strength, responsibility, and good judgment. Act responsibly and please get help quickly. The do's and don'ts when somebody has intrusive thoughts. Having spoken to an ex-British soldier who has suffered and still suffers from intrusive thoughts, sometimes they can be life-threatening. Here is some advice that they gave me. Don'ts. Don't tell me to snap out of it. So understand that the thoughts come into my head like an uninvited guest. Do's. Accept that you may be suffering from ill mental health, and when you realise this, you can finally stop battling with the thoughts and accept the help that you willingly deserve. Don't tell me I'm selfish. Understand that these thoughts are always there, and a trigger or life event, which is something that can't be changed, may bring them to the forefront. But do distract your brain by doing something that you enjoy. These thoughts may still come back, but you can learn to not pay attention to them and focus on what is good. Don't tell me that I have everything going for me and I have nothing to be down about. Please understand that when I have these thoughts, I get flashing images of how I'll hurt myself. I think how I will do it, but I also think of my family and ask if they will be able to cope. I feel low in confidence and have low self-esteem as well. Do realise that it may seem as if everything is okay, but not to them. Doing something you enjoy will help you suppress these thoughts and focus on the positive. Don't demand to know answers or reasons why. Understand that I accept that these thoughts are part of my life and I can now cope with them better. Do activities such as the following, which can help you focus your mind on what you're doing in the present moment. Reconnecting with music and playing your favourite artist, going out for a drive. Sometimes the last thing you want to see is somebody, so just getting out of your environment for a short period of time and you can just concentrate on something else. So in this circumstances, it will be the road. If you like to be around animals, reading, puzzles, playing chess, Netflix, box sets, being creative, treating yourself to a new Xbox game where you can connect with others, walking the dog if that's your thing, or if you don't have one, ask a friend or family member if you can walk theirs. I think my friend or family member is having intrusive thoughts, so what else can I do to help? And here are some points. Establish a rapport and get to know them. Show an interest in what they're doing. If they're glued to a Netflix series, just sit with them and watch it. Don't expect deep and meaningful conversation about mental health. If they aren't eating properly, cook them a meal or drop over some home-cooked food. If the dishes haven't been done for a few days, just do the washing up. Don't make it into a big deal. If they open up to you, listen to them without interrupting, as interruptions can scare them away and cause them to close up. The most important thing is just to be there for them. People with life-threatening thoughts need immediate intervention, and by being there, this will prevent them acting on their thoughts. Sometimes the last thing they want at that moment is to ring a helpline until they are actually ready. During COVID-19, it is not always possible to be physically there for someone that you're actually worried about. Keeping in touch and keeping the line of communication open is absolutely key. That you can use text messaging, the Zoom apps, WebEx meetings, WhatsApp, Snapchat, the TikTok challenges that seem to be taken off at the moment. And that actually shows the person that someone does care about them and is there for them. Remember, we all have a key role to play. Good leadership saves lives and secures good mental health. Take time to talk to each other, start a conversation, and seeking help in times of distress displays courage and is an absolute sign of strength, responsibility and good judgment. Please act responsibly and get help quickly if you need it.